Well, we told you about the Nigerian elections.
Yes.
And we know the results have been trickling in, but as Mamavi told you earlier, the states that have been declared are just small in number compared to the wider.
Yeah. We want to go to the grounds in Nigeria. We want to speak to Dr. Franklin Odro. He's Deputy Director at the CDD, also Head of Research. Dr. Franklin Odro, good morning to you. Thank you for your time, if you can hear me.
Good morning to you as well.
So first of all, where in Nigeria are you?
I'm in Abuja.
Abuja. Okay. I think Abuja is one of the places where the results has already been declared, correct?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. So what can you share with us in terms of the results that have been coming in as an observer?
Well, today is day 3 after the polling, and one of the major concerns so far by observers and those who are really watching the poll is the delay in the national coalition and announcement. As of yesterday, last night, the Independent National Electoral Commission had been able to certify 11 results from the state level and then the Federal Capital Territory, that is Abuja area, making it 12 out of a total of 36 states plus the FCC. So there appears to be a long way to go, and people are getting worried as to when exactly will the final result be satisfied. If the pace that we saw yesterday is to be continued today, then we may be looking at Wednesday or maybe Thursday for the final declaration of the presidential.
So who is ahead in the who is winning essentially? Can you tell?
Well, it's too early to make that projection based on the results that have been announced so far. As I said, total of nothing. You notice that the candidate of the APC, that is the incumbent candidate, I think has taken about 7 out of that, 7 states, including the 7 states. And then the candidate of the PDP, that is Atiku Abubakar, taking 5. He won the FCC area, won some of the states from the southeast, that is Enugu, Ebonyi, and Abia, and then one from the southwest, that is the Yoruba land area, that's Ondo. But the incumbent candidate has also taken some states that hitherto he lost in the previous elections. So if you take Kwara State, for instance, that he had not won election in that state in the previous elections, he won that. He has also taken the Nasarawa State. He has taken some of the states from the northeast where Abuba Atiku comes from, the Gombe state, for instance, he's taking that. And he's taking some of the southwest and APC states, for instance. At this moment, this is what we know. But as I said, there are over 20 more states, about 24 or so states that are yet to be declared. And these are a mixture of states from the north, west, which is the incumbent own home area, Katsina, Kaduna, Kano, which is the largest water population, in addition to Lagos, that have not yet been announced.
We've heard about some arrests of opposition members. What do you know about that situation?
Well, I mean, yesterday, the chairman of the main opposition party, that's the PDP, did a press conference and actually has projected the presidential result even before the final tally, suggesting that they suspect that figures are being manipulated by the INEC and in conjunction with the ruling party. But me as an observer, I have no evidence of that. But that is what is out there. There are reports also from some of the states in the south where there are reports that some local government area, what we may call the district assembly equivalent in Ghana, did not have elections, but results are being announced. I'm yet to verify that. But there are all of these sources and rumors, including some security, the resident electoral commissioners in some of the states saying that they have been forced to announce the results under duress, which is not actually what reflected. So there are quite a number of stories and rumors and issues surrounding the results. And the more the declaration delays, the more some of these stories are going to be heard, which I think is something that a lot of Nigerians are concerned regarding when are we going to get the results. But we need also to understand the INEC, because this is a very elaborate system. We are talking about 73 presidential candidates on the ballot paper. You can imagine what the ballot paper is going to look like. Their own collation process is so a bit physical. In other words, the state level returning officers and INEC officials will have to travel physically to Abuja to present the document to the INEC. So if someone is coming from Kano, for instance, or coming from the south, Bayelsa or Delta State, for instance, you can imagine the travel distance to be able to get to Abuja. And so this all affects the time of which the INEC will be able to get the results out.
But you're sure, sir, that the announcements will come through on Wednesday?
Well, so, I mean, if I look at what happened yesterday, where the whole day, the National Collation Center, they were able to do 11 or 12. And if the same thing continues, meaning that if they do the same 11 or 12 today, then obviously they probably do another 11 or 12 on Wednesday, which would be the 36 or 37. But so that's what I'm looking at based on what happened yesterday. But anything can happen because the INEC is working throughout the night, in midnight, as and when results coming from the state. So it's possible that many of the returning officers may have traveled back to Abuja last night, and therefore we might see a lot more of the results today. They are reconvening today at 10 o'clock, I believe, to continue with the announcement and receipt of those results. So we'll see what happens today. The domestic observer group, the Yaga Africa, was I was associated with, we came to access already have their own projections. They have their own PVT. They also conducted a parable tabulation, something similar to what we do in Ghana for the old dance in Ghana. And based on the PVT, they have estimates in terms of projected estimates in terms of who is likely to win. But they haven't shared that because they are not officially supposed to declare results. They'll wait for the INEC to do that. And then if whatever INEC announces falls within the estimates of the Yaga Africa projections, then they will confirm it. But and they have said clearly that if the results do not fall within that, they will also come out to sort of expose the wrong. And meanwhile, they have released a projected potential voter turnout, which they indicate that it might be less than what was reported in 2015. 2015 had a voter turnout of about 42%. The latest projection from Yaga Africa suggests that it might be between 36 and 40% that there will be the less voter turnout in this particular election. And people have also expressed that something based on late start everything in many parts of the country.
Dr. Odro, any updates on those areas that couldn't vote on Saturday?
Well, I'm yet to get updates. As of yesterday, some of those, I got information there was one polling unit in the east where voting took place because Yaga Africa had observers around. They sent the observers to some of these places, and they reported back that many of those places voting had not taken place. But again, we need to verify that to see whether it took place or it take place today. But the sense that I'm getting is that in some of those places where voting did not take place, the INEC may want to wait and get the report their resident officials at the state level to examine exactly what happened, why is it that voting didn't take place, and because they have specific guidelines regarding cancellation of votes or voting not take place and how those can be remedied.
Dr. Joel, the last question coming through from my colleague Roland Walker.
And before the election or during the election, there were pockets of violence that were reported, incidents that were also well shared or went viral on social media. As observers, how do some of these string of incidents tend to give you the conclusion whether this was free and fair, and how do you classify them?
Well, first of all, I mean, Roland, I'm sure you have been following elections, and you probably know that there is no election, where you have a perfect process. It's an human endeavor. There's likely to be some hitches and some skirmishes. But for election observers, for those of us who watch the elections, have been doing this for years, there are certain indicators that you look at. You look at the widespread nature of it. You look at the pattern of whether it's deliberate. You want to ask whether it's deliberate pattern that is affecting specific areas or not. You look at the extent that the actions or inactions of party officials or election management bodies did to undermine voter turnout. You look at all of those things, and therefore you are able to determine, make a judgment on how credible the elections are. Yes, on election day here in Nigeria, there was quite some violence, but on the whole, and if you look at all the observer reports, both international observer groups, the African Union, the ECOWAS, the domestic observer groups, they all sort of judge this election to be generally peaceful in terms of the polling process, in terms of what happened in the polls. Although they also highlight all of these isolated cases of violence. And if you follow the story, you notice that the stuff happening in Lagos, one part of Okoto area, because they call the place Okoto, something like that area where there was some collection. In the River State, that's Port Harcourt area, is the stuff, some skirmishes. But by and large, Nigeria, we're talking about 36 states plus the Federal Capital Territory. So these were violence and commotion that took place in some handful of places, but not necessarily across the country and not widespread. I think the major issue that a lot of observers, especially the domestic observer groups, are concerned is the late start of voting, because the way the Nigerian system works is that they have what we call accreditation of voting, and everything is supposed to end at 2 p.m. But if you're in the queue before 2 p.m., you are allowed to vote. So supposing that if there is late start of voting like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., it means that there will be voting that will extend to very late. And I think that's what happens in some cases. But otherwise, it has been generally peaceful and credible.
Okay.
In terms of the polling process, now we are waiting for the results collation and announcement and everything.
And before we let you go, the JEGA Commission was said to have been heralded as having organized an election which was, well, within the history of Nigeria, unprecedented. And this one to the Yakubu Commission also seemed to have done same. What do you think they've gotten right the last 2 elections?
I think what has contributed to them getting things right has been the open, consultative nature that the INEC has adopted since JEGA took place. If you recall, one of the problems that people had with the electoral management bodies were under one of the, before JEGA came, Professor Iwu, before JEGA came on, the closed-door nature of the operations of the INEC. I think since JEGA started, and indeed under the current chair, who have been very open, very consultative, work closely well with some of the society groups and citizen observer groups. They have also constantly been looking at the electoral laws and reforming them and amending some of those things. So, for instance, in the past, until this is the first time in Nigeria, the last 20 years, where they do accreditation and do some occasions. In the past, people will come in the morning to queue and then get accreditation and then you wait, and then after 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., you come back to home. So what it means that people can come in the morning, get accreditation, and maybe go back. They don't come back. But based on lessons from the past, they decide to combine these two processes. So as soon as you come and get accredited, that is your card, your voter card is read by the smart card reader, and then also your thumbprint is verified. Then you proceed to vote. And this helps actually in making sure that whoever came in the morning also voted. So they sort of learned a lot. They are learned after each election, perfected the electoral system. But of course, elections and the desire for power, also create problems, and politicians and political parties always want to find other means to undermine the system. And I think what happened here with respect to the violence was unfortunate, but I think the INEC, we can give some credit to the INEC for the consultative nature of it. They have been doing briefings, stakeholder briefings regularly to present to Nigerians, the media, and stakeholders about their own preparations, the challenges they face, and how they going to deal with it.
Mm. So, Dr. Odro, you say there are about 20 states to go. Is that it?
No, we have about 24 states.
Okay.
24 states to go.
Okay, so who is in the lead?
Well, as I said before now, with the 11 states that have been declared now, 7 of those states have gone in the way of the incumbent, Muhammad Buhari, and 4 of the states plus the Federal Capital Territory have also gone the opposition candidate, Boubacar Atiku. So based on what we know now, and this is very insignificant, it's just about 11 or 12 states, so you can't use that to really make a projection as to who is likely. But so far, with 11 or 12, Muhammad Buhari has taken 7 states. And the Nigerian presidential election is also very complex. You have to get simple majority, but you also have to get a quarter of the vote from 2/3 of the state. So you can get a majority, but if you don't fulfill 25% of vote in 26 states, you can't become a president. So you must have some votes in about 26. 2/3 of the federal states, a quarter, 25% of the vote cast in each of these 26 or 27 states, and then getting the simple majority, then you become the president. So it's very complex. So if you think that you can just take your stronghold is in the east or the north, and you think you can get all the votes there, but you don't fulfill the 25% in other states, you may not necessarily become the president.
Dr. Franklin Odro, we really appreciate the updates and the analysis that you've shared with us. Thank you very much. Live from Nigeria, Deputy Director of the CDD, also Head of Research and Programs at the CDD, Dr. Franklin Odro, bringing us up to speed. Now you know how it's looking like in terms of the Nigeria elections and the results. In the meantime, millions of Nigerians are anxiously waiting for the entire result and the final declaration. We'll keep you updated as to what we know.